Welcome to Reel Talk. Today we're talking to Nicole and we're talking about her son who has Dravet syndrome and also autism. We'd like to raise awareness for both of these disabilities and conditions today, and we'll put links in at the top of the page so you can take a look and learn a little bit more about both. If you could just explain a little bit about your son, what age he is and what conditions he's got, and when you found out about both conditions and how.
So it's Coulson, he's 5, he's got Darvet syndrome and autism. We found out he had epilepsy at 7 months. We was going to the health visitor quite often from when he was born because he just kept staring, but she said that was normal. But then it turned out we think they were the seizures as well starting.
Oh, okay.
And then he had his first one at 7 months, and then he had to have another 2 to be diagnosed with the epilepsy. So we had 3 altogether. So from July he was diagnosed into September, and then we tried all the medications, nothing worked. So with the Dravet, it's a drug-resistant epilepsy.
Right.
So we went through all them, and then he finally got the test done, and it turned out he did have it.
And at what age did he have the test for Dravet syndrome?
It was when he was around 4.
So his first seizure was at 7?
7 months.
And it took quite a long time then
Yeah,
to actually...
so we had to try every medication out there. She didn't think he had it because you normally have like features of it, you have webbed feet, you can't walk, you can't do nothing. He had nothing other than the epilepsy side. So she was shocked when it did come back he had it. The autism, from when he was 1, he met all of his milestones. He had a long seizure and then he seemed to stop. Stopped talking. So we didn't know whether it was anything to do with that, but then it turned out apparently with a lot of autistic people you can meet the milestones and then they go backwards. Then they'll stop talking, they'll stop developing. So then by the time he was 2, he failed everything. Then he stopped talking, he talked more when he was 1. And then he got diagnosed when he was 2.
So how do you communicate with Coulson? Because I'm sure you've got a unique bond and way of...
See, this is the thing that we used to get scared of because he can't communicate. We know what he wants. So with this food, he'll pass us the plate, he'll give us his juice bottle for more stuff. In the kitchen, he'll just point, so then you have to go in there and guess what he wants. But we know what he likes, so when we went to a place where they didn't know him, I don't believe a bit.
You were maybe worried about him...
how they'd know what he wants.
Yeah, so if, for example, at school, if they would understand and know what he wanted.
So the school have learnt a lot from him, and they sort of know what he wants, so they've made him come on a lot. He didn't used to do eye contact, he does now. He comes up and cuddles you, whereas before he'd back away.
For Dravets, some of the things that can bring on a seizure, what would those be?
So with Fanta, we don't know them all because some of them can just happen, but when he's excited, when he gets hot, if he goes into like water that's cold or hot and then he comes out and the temperature's totally different, illness, that will bring on more than 1 a day.
Wow.
So he could have more, so you just have to wait for that. If he's got a high temperature, that brings on a lot more because his body can't seem to cool itself down until he has one.
Right.
So it's a bit, it's just anything really.
I've witnessed one of Coulson's seizures, and for anybody that hasn't, it's very frightening. You do go into mom mode, I'd say, but with us both being special needs parents, you definitely go into that mode of like, what do I do? How do I help? When Coulson has a seizure, as regards what you've been told by the medical professionals regarding the time.
So ours is different to other people's because he has a reaction to the rescue meds. So he'll stop breathing, so we can't give them. So after 2 to 3 minutes, you have to ring the ambulance. But all you can do is just sit with him, comfort him, make sure he's safe, and just let him go through it.
Then you mentioned about the rescue meds. Can you just explain that a little bit again?
So it's normally 5 minutes. They have to have it to try and bring them out of the seizure to stop it. But then with Coulson, he stops breathing on them. So obviously the ambulance have to then breathe for him, because we've done it before where his dad's had to do CPR, but we ain't got the breathing stuff that he needs, so we don't even have it in the house. Whereas
that-
other people would have, and they would give it them after the 5 minutes.
Is there a reason? What have you not been allowed to have that? Or
We did have it, and then he stopped breathing on that one, and then we tried another one, and he stopped breathing on both. So it's just a reaction to them.
wow, so that's quite a lot to as a parent to worry about.
Yeah.
And I know that you're an excellent mom, and you've got an excellent husband and an older son, and as a family you're a fantastic, bond. You've got a great bond, and you all love Kyson so much, and obviously your mum as well, and she's fantastic. I've met her as well many times, and as a family I've got to say you do exceptionally well to support Kyson, all of you, so I know you're very dedicated to also raising awareness, and on the 15th of July, which is a Saturday, you're actually holding an event for Dravet syndrome to raise awareness and raise money for the charity, which we'll put the link in as well on the video. If you could perhaps just tell us a little bit about that event, where it is, what time, and I can also add in the poster on the link as well.
So it's at the Griffin Coating in Nuneaton. It's from 12 o'clock, and they just be like stalls, tombolas, prize bingo, raffles.
Family fun day.
Yeah.
That sounds really good. So it's definitely worth going along. So it's at 12 o'clock at the where, sorry?
Griffin Coating.
The Griffin Coating in Nuneaton. Okay, that's great. So yeah, if anybody wants to go along there, it is a public event. If you would like to make a donation, then we will also add those details into the link as well. And if we talk a little bit about autism, my son and Nicole's son both have autism, and they experience it the same way, but also in many different ways as well. And that's the thing with autism, it's every child is completely different. But as me and Nicole have had many discussions,
It's the little things. It's like, obviously he was completely non-verbal. Now he's starting to say the odd couple of words, which we thought he'd never do. He ain't at the stage of sentences, but he doesn't like loud noises, busy places. He'll sit in his pushchair and put his hood down so he can't see you, so he thinks you can't see him. It's on his terms, so if he wants a cuddle, he'll come to you. If you go to him, he'll push you away. He doesn't like that. Same with his brother. If he wants to play or have a little cuddle, it's again on his terms, which he's used to, we know, but other people might not. He's just always on the go. He don't sit still.
Taking a child with autism to anywhere that is new is always really challenging. It's not just challenging. You're taking a risk every time. You don't want to upset them, but you do want them to experience something new. What is that like for you? Give us an idea of what you've got to think about, what you've got to prepare for.
So we have him in a pushchair. He can walk, run, but it's more of his safety. So when he has a seizure, he doesn't actually let you know. He'll just fall to the floor. So it's safety. And then with the Dravet, we have to obviously take the pushchair, because with the seizures, he doesn't tell us. He doesn't know. He'll just fall to the floor.
So are you telling me that there's no warning signs?
No, there's no warning signs. It will just happen when it happens.
Okay.
So for his safety, he's in the pushchair. And then after he has one, he'll just be like dead weight. You can't pick him up. He can't control any part of his body.
And it's literally like having to hold his head. Obviously, having witnessed one of Kyson's seizures, he's very, very heavy. I can imagine if you were on your own, or even with another adult, it's very, very hard to get him back into, say, the chair, or even if he's in the chair, you've still got to
put him on his side, make sure he's still breathing and safe. But it's just a bit easier than trying to lift him up off the floor. I walked into the shop for the first time one time. He got to the shop and then he had one, so you had everyone staring. Then you had to try and ring the ambulance, and they wanted the actual address. Well, I didn't know it, so we had to go outside and look for the closest number, because the shop had customers. So you just have to think of everything. So even when you're going out, you need to then look for the nearest hospital, you have to have the numbers, so everything is, you have to plan everything.
So coming here today, which is a little bit out of the way from school, it's a different route that Nicole would ordinarily take, so I would imagine that you would have had to have looked at what time it would take you to get back to the school from this location. Make sure that you've got the pushchair, which I know just about fits in the car at the moment.
Yeah, let's take it apart.
And that's quite time consuming. And then race to the school, so to speak, to make sure that you get there. If you get a call that he's had one of his epileptic seizures, then, and they have to call an ambulance, then Nicole would have to rush to the school to try and get there before the ambulance, so that she could be in the ambulance with Kyson on the way to hospital. And this has happened.
Once,
It's
the
happened.
school have been brilliant. They sit with him. When I go in there, they're doing everything I would do anyway.
All parents have, when their child starts school for the first time, as special need parents, we have additional things to think about on top of, are they going to have a nice day? Are they going to be upset? There's lots of other things we have to worry about. For example, autistic meltdowns, which are extremely frightening for the child to have. And this is just in mine and Nicole's case here. So epileptic fit, all of the teachers, the helpers, the TAs, all of the staff are so highly trained. They all get to know your child so well.
Yeah, and what they like.
Needs, and like you say, with the communication side as well, being able to communicate what they want.
So he started to do they've done a more button, so when he wants something, they'll pass him the button, he'll click it more. So he's not ready for the pictures or anything yet, so he doesn't look at them enough to even see what they are.
Be very picky eaters with autism as well. So usually if you speak to most professionals, they'll tell you that beige food is the food that autistic children will eat, and perhaps you can give us a few examples of the food that Kyson eats.
Kyson will only eat the finger foods, he'll only eat nuggets, sausages, he won't eat nothing of a texture or the smell, or if you put him a plate of like mash, he wouldn't touch that because of the texture of it. But no, he won't put nothing in his mouth, he has to put it on his lip just to see what it is. So
obviously sensory needs there.
Yes, he's really sensory.
And that is something that the school once again cater very, very well for. With the food side of it, it does seem to be finger food, a lot of the food, and trying new things is really hard.
Yeah, it's a big step, but everyone I speak to is 9 times out of 10 the children are all the same.
Oh yeah.
They'll only eat certain foods, the foods that he doesn't eat, most other kids wouldn't.
I'd like to thank Nicole for coming along today, finding the time to have a chat with us, raising awareness for Dravet syndrome and autism. Once again, we will put a lot of links above this video so that you can click onto the Dravet site, the autism site, along with Nicole's event that she's doing on the 15th of July for Dravet syndrome. We really appreciate you guys watching, and thanks for tuning in to Reel Talk.